All right, hello everyone. So one of the things I'm going to talk about today, I've been working on this tree ring for a while now, but I haven't been able to dedicate a lot of time to it. Life gets in the way. Everyone knows about that. But I wanted to bring up some things. Is it you? Is it your tools? Is it the lock? What's going on, right? So what I wanted to do is kind of talk about this tree ring, right? And that's kind of what brought me up because a lot of people are like, hey, what can you do? Can you do it, right? So let's look at this bitting here. This bitting is pretty rough. Now, what I'm going to show you is these are trampoline pins. Don't know if you can see it. Kind of focus. Let me get to focus on that side. You see the trampoline pins there, and that's that keyway, right? So the issue you're going to run into with this is one, you're figuring out, can I even pick it? What can I pick it with, right? So one of the things I was doing, and I want you to take a look at, I will get the actual pick I've been using. Pretty good Moki. I'm just going to show you all of them. Okay. So this is kind of the pick I've been using. And I've been able to successfully work on 3 pins. But what I've noticed is, if you can look at this bitting, so I have not been able to pick it from the bottom. Okay, I can't pick it from the bottom. I've been picking it from the shelf. Let's just call it the shelf right here on this warning right here. Okay, and there are some locks that you have to get in there, and you have to wrap your pick around the shelf. Well, let me show you whether or not that's possible, right? So I've been able to get 3, but here's my problem runs, right? So that shelf is basically, if you look at the way the key goes in, that shelf where I'm picking from, at the best case scenario, it was as low as I possibly can get to here. So if this is the outside of the key right here, that means on this line right here, right, where the blade kind of ends, is going to be right there. So I'm going to put my finger on there. I'm going to kind of squish my finger down. Now you can see right here, is it possible? So you can look at different picks, right? Say I was using this pick, right? That pick, it would not be possible because this, from the shelf, I would not be able to get that pin or that pin because I'd wind up oversetting these pins here, right? So that is why I can't get 4. But even when I use these picks, look, if you go underneath like this and get a high angle, I can get that 1, 2, third pin. Yep, because I only have a 6 pin. So I could possibly technically get that one. So you can see how that goes. But when I go for this one, I'm going to just overset this terrible no lift pin right here. That is the crux. So if this pin was actually a little bit higher, maybe here, I'd actually have no problem sneaking this underneath the bottom of the warding and then wrap it around and bring it back up. But I can't do that, right? So I have to pick from the very bottom. So can I pick, and I can apply this to everything, get the forest and stuff like that. Like, you just can't, from this ledge, get to these pins without oversetting number 3. So I have to pick it from the very bottom down here. So can I pick it from the very bottom? If you look at the very bottom, I can't do it with this pick. And basically you could just take a selection of picks. When I go here, if I bring this and I'm using the very bottom of this and come up, you can see that when I get to this one, I still will overset this. So this won't work. So now maybe try this guy. So will this guy work? Look, how will I get past number 3? So one could argue that I don't lift this up first, then get past it, but then how do I get it back? So again, not likely to use this guy right here, right? So I can possibly use this one, but again, look, even if I have it on the very bottom, getting past number 3. So again, the right tools for the job. So could I squeeze it past here and set it and then maybe somehow get under here? But the chances of me not having to reset these ones after this one's done is unlikely. Like, yes, I can do this, but then I'm going to run into this one. So again, so looking at these tools, you're looking at the only possibility I have with the hooks that I have would be way back here, would be this one. You can see I barely, look at that, hitting that pin. Look how close that is. So close. It's the same thing here. So I have to really be careful number 3. So it's very, very difficult for me. And using any of these other ones too, same thing. When I get underneath here, if you use the very bottom, even this one, see this right here? It crosses over. So right here, this is out. So like I basically limited everything in here except my thinnest Moki. And so those tools gone, useless to me. So, oh, sorry, useless to me. And then you got this guy right here. Then I have this multi-pick. So if you look at this one, I can actually put this at the very bottom. I can barely get that one. And that one, if you look how devastatingly close it is. Do you see the angle? As you can see, when I actually lift this to position, it is oversetting this bottom one. So if I try to do it from the shelf, nope. So like there is no way for me, even with this one, to technically get to that pin without overset number 3. So it leaves me pretty much just last pin. So what I'm trying to do with this one is this one, can I make it? If I am picking off the very, very bottom and keep it basically in here as low as I possibly can, you're looking at that it would sit right here. And if you lift it up, if you look, so going as low as I can, look at that margin of error. It is pretty much, I'm going to try to put my finger on it the best I can from where it's going to be. To be honest with you, I couldn't even say for sure that I would not still overset number 3. So no matter how hard I try, even if I do this one, if you put your finger down at the bottom of where you know it's going to be at the lowest, pretty much I do not have the right tools for the job. When I'm trying to set this pin right here, the chances are is I am going to overset this pin. Maybe I won't, maybe I will, but I'll tell you what, even this, if you look, when you get into using the picks, you'll see like, look, I can get up into number 1. And there's only one pin in here. I can get into number 2, right? But as you go deeper and deeper, the warding stops you because you can see I'm way in here. Look how low that goes. And then I go to the next one. And as you go back further and further and further, this doesn't go as high up. So the question is, can I actually get one pin? So the answer is yes. If I go very, very far back, I can push as hard as I can and get that first pin. But that's not the problem. The problem isn't getting the pin. The problem is getting past number 3. So as I've been doing this, I've been able to successfully get 3, but the second I add the 4th one, I can't do it. And as you can see, I have been spending weeks doing this, but the realism behind it is, let me get like a shelf on here. Actually, I'll just do it here. Shelf on here. The realism is that when I go to pick this, as you can see, if you take a look, this is the very back of it. I'll try to get it the best I can around the back. If you look, when I put this here, I have the slimmest of chances. And if you look at that angle, pretty much when I set this, when I get this right where it belongs, you can see, if I zoom in, let me try to zoom in on this, so you can see a little bit better. Try to get this centered. Okay. So again, right here, put this at the very back, so this is where it would be. I'd be sitting right at the very end of this. And if you look at that, that's me putting it right in place. If you look, I maybe with perfection. So what's the answer? The answer is trying to find a deeper hook. Because again, even with this one, when you go here, if you look, you can see that actually kind of goes over the edge. Here it is right there set. And a tiny bit goes over the edge. So the answer is I need to get myself a deeper hook. So I have to look online or fabricate my own and get a massive hook. And then again, the problem with the massive hook, if you look, this, I already have to sneak this in, and then I would lift it in the position. And again, you gotta remember this doesn't count because look, oh, that's so much clearer. Yeah, again, you're gonna be here. So if you look, the point of touching should be right below here. That is actually the point, the pivot point. So there is a possibility, if you look, that I might be able to do it. Look how close that is. So I think that will make this a lot easier, would actually be getting something with a deeper hook. Now the problem you run into is it also needs to be thin, because again, can you get it? So what I've done is just, kind of the background, is I actually have been practicing doing it with up to 3 and I can get it, but I can't, like this one right here, just the angle of the warding, I cannot try to get it. Let's reset. Actually, this is not the tension I've been using. I had a much thicker tension. I think I put it back from a little girl playing with it earlier. So, somewhere on my desk, she was playing with it. There we go. There's the, so what I've learned is I can actually push it, and as I lean into it and push forward, I can get to the right location. So, I'm going to keep messing with it, but this pick is pretty much the only pick I have that has the possibility. So, this is kind of a long video, but I just wanted to explain to you, working through the key, you can even know whether or not you have it. So look at this key. I know that when I first stick it in here, I can't go flat. Otherwise, I'll overset right away. So I know that when I'm doing this, I go 1, 2. When I get to that third one, I have to go underneath it. So if I apply enough pressure here, I shouldn't be able to do it. So it should be rock hard. So, well, not rock hard. You should be able to do jiggle test. So I'll move a little bit like that. So pretty much as I work underneath this one, I need to give a good amount of tension to get past number 3 so I don't accidentally overset it. Having said that, if I didn't have beta from this key, would I ever know to skirt underneath this one? Probably not. I would probably, every single time I came in here, I would probably overset this one. Because what would happen was I wound up lifting up past that point, which would then overset and it would start binding. And I would just push it up and just not know where I was going wrong. And in this case, where I was going wrong is that this is a terrible bidding for me. If this middle one was just 1 or 2 higher, what an easier lock it would be. But I literally have been working, getting 2, 3 pins. But even then, to be fair, I can't get past 2 working from the bottom. I can only work it from the shelf and lift them up with these trampoline pins. So unfortunately for me, I don't know if it's possible with this pick. So just giving you guys tips on kind of reading the bidding and just to see if your tools are even possible. So can I make a tool that will work? Absolutely, but I'm gonna have to do some fabrication. You guys have a good night.